Seattle Sounders returned to practice today after the return from Marbella, Spain. It was the first day of practice, and they will practice tomorrow and then have their last preseason game, take a couple of days off, and then the season commences. So here's what Brian Schmetzer and Jordan Morris had to say about being back in training.
Great. Everybody's happy he was back, and I know it was warmer in Spain, but it's nice coming out here. It's good to be home.
How would you assess your satisfaction with the time in Spain?
I would say that this camp has been one of the most productive that we've had in quite some time.
What did you
Just training, physical portion of it. When we get into Albert, Albert's got a little tweak in his quad. When we got him back, we did a scan just because he's a vital part of our team. Just reading him, and Albert might make it back for Antigua. Maybe Charlotte is probably the safer bet, but only one injury. Getting both groups, the quality last game. The last game that we had were really good quality for both squads. We were very pleased.
Since you mentioned Albert and Reed, can you give a formal update on their?
Well, Reed's it's his other hamstring. Again, formally, it's Albert's right quad. Just a little tweak in the very top part of it. He's going to be day-to-day. He'd probably wait till after the Louisville game to come back and join bits of training. But again, I want to be cautious with this. I can't afford to lose him early in the year just because he wants to play. The depth of this team is one of its strengths. We have true competition at multiple spots. So for me as a coach, for us as a coaching staff, it's great.
Brian, going back to your last preseason game, you were mildly irritated by the defense because the goals are pretty low.
Well, look, I was mildly irritated because I don't like losing. I don't like the way we give up goals sometimes when it's an individual mistake. Sometimes you got to let that go. Maybe at the time I was irritated, but things are going to happen. It's preseason. The goals we gave up weren't because of any sort of tactical team breakdown shape. It was a couple of individual mistakes. And I'll use the last goal against Hammersby as an example. We were in control of the game. They got a first goal, 2-1, made it a little tighter. But our whole preseason was about pressing. And how do we press, and when do we press with three, and all of those little nuances. And Georgie wanted to do what the coach told him to do. And then Alec came a little bit late, Reed was a little late, and so, we got stretched a little bit, they came down and scored. But I'm not going to kill Georgie for doing what I told him to do. So, in my mind, it's just a learning tool. We show him the tape, and, if it would have been a real game, we would have dropped off.
How important the build-up you need for them to understand they probably are, the build-up then that leads to multiple players in the box.
Again, that was one of the items that we were going to work on because last year we didn't score enough goals. Again, I think we scored a lot of goals in preseason. I think that work speaks for itself.
And then on Wednesday, what do you need to see?
Final tune-up. Again, 90 minutes. Like the fact that Adam's done a great job that we have 2 90-minute scrimmages before our first competitive match. So I think the fitness staff has done a great job of planning a preseason. And, just again, no injuries, good 90-minute run out for the guys. And, we'll run both squads out again 90 minutes. We felt that this formation would work. Last year, Georgie and Pedro at the end and Paul were true wingers in a 4-2-3-1. I think Pedro's strengths, he can come inside. I think Jesus, I'm going to play him next to Jordan and get him close. Albert plays in the pocket. I think we have some guys that in that middle attacking part of the field are going to be very effective. So where was our width going to come from? It seemed to us that wing backs are kind of a logical step in that direction. And again, let's see if it works. Always go back to 4-2-3-1. I still might go back to 4-2-3-1 for certain points. We'll see.
Brian, the prevailing, just soccer thing going out there is you can change the different formations, but what matters is the players that you have in there. So can you talk about the depth you have? You have the formation, you can keep the same formation. When you put different players, it's actually a different type of attack, different look.
Sure. And that's what's going to give us an advantage. If I would take, two players, let's say Jesus and Georgie. Okay, two totally different players, but we've been playing them both kind of in that right pocket. Jesus stays there and goes closer to Jordan and can play in between the lines. But when Georgie plays there, defensively he starts here, but offensively he's the widest guy in the field on that side, and we rotate him in. So that type of flexibility in game, week to week, midweek games is going to help us, so opponents can't really, dial into us and prevent us from scoring.
It's a really close group, and we add in some new guys that are fitting in really well, fitting in quickly. I always talk about the locker room that we have, so I think you saw that chemistry, and when you're away for 3 weeks together, you just keep getting closer. So it's a really good group that we have on and off the field, and I think that's going to help us. Yeah, I think that's a big one, is committing numbers forward. You see, I think last year sometimes we struggled to get numbers in the box. It's tough to score that way, so a big emphasis for us this year is getting, committing more numbers forward, getting more numbers in the box, and you saw that lead to more goals in preseason. So stuff still to work on, but that's a big emphasis of ours. It's just
in terms of getting numbers in the box, how important has the build-up, right? Possession, build-up, and then get those numbers, and how much time has been spent on that? Because that's critical.
Yeah, for sure. We I think work good in both areas of the game, whether it's the build-up or transitioning on teams. But adding guys like Paul, like Jesus, guys that like to run, that like to get in the box, that are really good in possession as well. So whatever way we're playing, whatever the game lends to on that day, whether it's more of a transition game or more built-up in possession, we have guys to do both. And we've been working on both areas. And I think you get to know tendencies of players and where they like to end up, what they like to do on the ball, and I think something that's been helpful for the new guys coming in. Paul and Jesus obviously know a lot of us have played with us, so we understand kind of how they like to play. We've played against them a lot in the past, so we understand kind of how they like to play, what their tendencies are. But yeah, that's huge. Having that chemistry on the field makes a huge difference. I think you see that with this team. I think you talk to anyone, this is the closest group I've been a part of, so it's exciting.
Does a clean close off the field lead to selflessness on the field? You know what I'm saying? That to make that extra run, create that extra space.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what it comes down to is you want to win together, and you want to be part of something special, and you want to work for the guy next to you. And when you have guys that are close like that, the relationships that you build off the field, that 100% comes in on the field and within the group. So you see that even more this year. We have a really, really good group, and definitely lends itself on the field.
All right, so there you go. You heard a little bit about Brian Schmetzer, kind of what he's looking to do and accomplish in terms of the next couple of days, and then you heard Jordan just talk about the unselfishness of this team and why that's important, because a team that's together and is on the same page, thinks the same, it on the field, it helps in terms, especially in soccer, that ability to know where the next player is going to be, where the pivots are, and also the selfless running that's important in a soccer game. From the Swedish Performance Center in Renton, I'm Osvita Meyer for the Cascadia Sports.net.